Recording.
If it makes you feel more comfortable, this is between 32 and 37.
Oh, thank you so much.
Watch Kathleen.
Hello.
What the temperature is.
Kathleen, I can hardly hear you.
Sorry, I'm for respiratory things and I kind of lost my voice. So I will try to get closer or something.
Okay.
Most of the people heard 32 and 37, which is cold enough.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
I remember those temperatures.
Hmm.
Where was it, 32 and 37?
An elderly man was having problems hearing, so he went to a hearing specialist. The doctor fitted him for some hearing aids, one of his best, and brought his hearing back
I don't
to
hear
full
anything.
strength. It brought his hearing back to full strength. After a few weeks, the man came back to make sure his new hearing aids were working properly, which they were. The hearing specialist said, "It all seems perfect. Your family should be delighted that you can hear everything they're saying now." "Oh no," the man responded, "I haven't told them about the new hearing aids. I just sit quietly, listen carefully. I've changed my will 4 times already."
Oh, me.
Good one.
Tip of the day, tip of the day.
Okay, all right. You said that.
I know it's a beginning class, but I'll give you tip of the day here. Many of us call people who have an extension. They may be in places like Sunnyside or some other development where there is an extension on the phone number that gets them to their landline phone. Therefore, you usually enter the number and then it says enter the extension. Well, there's a way that you can automatically have that done for you.
Try that again.
And what I want to do is show you that.
Bill, can you mute everybody? We can't hear you when everybody's,
I
talking.
know, that's easy for me to do, and thank you, I will do that.
Thank you.
Where do I do it? Where do I do it?
Well, 150. 1, 2.
I'm not muted.
Here it is. All right. So the way in which you do this, and I'll do it on my phone. Oh, I have to share it. Hold on. Let me share the screen. Everybody see my screen? Somebody respond and say yes or no.
Yes,
You can, Ann?
yes, I can see it.
Okay. What we do is we go to contacts. This is where you would set it up. So we're going to go to contacts. And it works on the iPad as well. Go to contacts, and we're going to add a new contacts. And the first name is Ivan. Oops.
Bill, you may want to up your volume a little bit. It's even with us off muted, it's hard to hear you.
You're sort of breaking up is what's happening.
Okay. I will check my microphone, see what it's hooked to. Is that better?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Well, we wait till you turn your head.
No, I had to switch the microphone to something other than the one on my computer. Okay, so then we put Ivan's name in there. Jones, last name. Okay. He doesn't have a company for him. We're going to scroll down here and add a phone number.
There's some kind of knocking that's still going on. You hear like a knocking sound.
You do?
Yes.
Is anybody else experiencing that?
No, I don't have it.
No.
I don't hear it.
No,
Okay, well. I'm hearing things.
Try the front door.
So I'm going to call Ivan on
Funny.
888-555-1212. But he's at extension 123. And in order to add the extension, you see these little symbols down here on the keypad? I'm going to press and hold it. And then I'm going to press and hold the asterisk. Okay. And then I'm going to add the, oops, wait a minute. Actually, they've changed the keyboard. You see where it says pause? So I'm going to hit pause and it puts a comma there. You see the comma? And then
But
his
do we
extension,
still leave the star there that was there when we first did it, or no?
well, they changed. I'm going to do it again. You hit the star plus and pound sign,
Okay,
and then it shows up as pause and wait on the new OS. On the old one, you'd hit the asterisk and hold it and a comma would appear. When you hit pause, you hit it right now. If it's an exceptionally long one, you hit two. You do two pauses, right, just to make sure. Then you put in their extension. So now when I call Ivan, it'll dial his number, it will answer. There will be a long pause. Let's say if you want to reach enter the extension of the person you're trying to reach, or tap 0, whatever it says. So it's pausing to get by there. And then you put 1, 2, 3 gets entered. Works quite effectively.
oh, okay, good.
Okay.
You have to put the extension in again when you actually make the call.
No, that's the point. You have the extension there and it will do it automatically for you. So when I want to call Ivan, I just tap that number. And so if I would tap that number right now, I don't know who's on that particular number. But if I tapped it, it would call Ivan, it would call his exchange, and then add his extension at the end after a short pause.
I
Okay,
have a problem, Bill. My commas don't come up. The star does, but not the commas.
does pause show up on yours, Ann? In other words, when you're entering, let me go back to him. You see the stars at the bottom there, Ann? The star plus and pound
Yes,
sign?
yes, I see that.
Okay, tap it. Now, does the word pause show up?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Tap pause instead of the asterisk.
Thank you very much.
Well, I screwed up because all my notes, they must be dated. Put a
Now-
comma in there when you hit the asterisk, but they've updated the operating system. So iOS 15 may be the star if you don't have the word pause. Okay,
Could you quickly go over that again, please? The
sure.
first is a period and then a parentheses.
Now I'll go through it again. Let me
Okay,
find Ivan here.
sorry.
What was the last name? Jones, right?
I was answering the door.
H-I-J.
Don't forget to hit the time and it'll bring you to the top of whatever you're scrolling.
Well, I don't want to hit the time. I want to get Jones, J.
No, but the time will take you to the top.
Of the contacts list. What did you say hit?
Um, it's
Jean?
Jean. If you're way down at the bottom, you can just hit the time. And it'll bring you
Oh,
to
clear
the
at the
top,
top?
which would be the letter A. Yeah, the time that's up your upper left, that's one of my favorite little hints.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
second
oh
hint
yeah,
for the day.
anytime you're scrolling through anything, to get to the top, you can hit the time and it'll bring you to the top, whether you're on Facebook or emails or whatever, and then you
Well, let me
wanted,
do that. Let me do that here.
we have
I
to
hit the
scroll
time.
down through all of them and then just hit the
See where
time
it took me? It took me to the top of the list. Now
Right.
I'm going to come over here and hit
and
the
do the
J.
J, right, for Jones. Okay, yeah,
Wow,
Yeah.
does it work on an IMAX as well?
it does work
Yes.
on an iPad, I believe it does.
Oh, wonderful.
I
Yay.
use it 100 times a day.
That's the wonderful, one of the things I've been worrying, how do you do that? All these for 3 years now, so you've solved that problem. Thank you.
Touch the time. It's the first thing I ever mentioned to people.
Oh, wow.
Back to Jones here. We're going to edit his phone number. We're going to get rid of what's there. All right. So now I'm in Jones. I've entered his name and I've scrolled down a little way to where it says enter his phone number. So I'm going to tap where it says phone 888-555-1212. Okay. And now at the bottom there's an asterisk and pound sign and plus. Tap that once and you either get what I have on my screen where it says pause, or you'll just get the pound sign. If you just get the pound sign, not the pound sign, the asterisk, long press the asterisk, but you got the pause, so you don't long press it. Okay, so I'm going to press pause, and you'll notice it put a comma. A comma is a wait. Okay. Most of the time that works. And then you put in the number 1, 2, his unit, whatever his extension is. And it could be 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay. Any questions on that one? So you got a bunch of hints there. You got hit the time up here at the top. To go back to the time, whoops, won't work unless you're back in a list. If you're in a list and you hit the time, it takes you to the top. Then if you want to go to a particular section of the list, you can hit R over here and it will take me to the R's. Okay,
Really helpful.
good one, good one. Last time we talked about all the things that are in your device. One of them was memory. So the question for the day is, how many books can you put in a gigabyte? Anybody remember?
Was it 1,000?
It was 1,000, yes.
Yay!
So if you have 16 gigabytes, you can put 16,000 books on your device. And a byte is 1 character in the computer or in your iPad or iPhone. So a gigabyte is 1 billion bytes. All right. I'm looking at my iPad there. Right? What are these things called?
Icons?
Icons or applications. In a previous life, they used to be called programs. So each one of these represents a program that you have on your device. And you can move them around by just pressing and holding them, and then you can move them. And you'll notice when you press and hold, the little minus sign appears. And if you click the minus sign, it allows you to delete it. Recently, they added this particular little thing called remove from home screen. You mean if I hit the minus sign and hit remove from home screen, it doesn't delete it from my device, it just removes it from a home screen? So yeah, it does. So I click that, hopefully, and it removes it from the home screen. Well, where did it go? Every app you have on your device is, if you scroll from right to left, one additional time, you'll get this list. Okay.
So it always goes to the app library rather than to one of the other screens you have?
Say that question again, please.
Sorry, it always goes to the app library rather than one of the other screens you has. It goes from the front to the app library rather than the page 2, 3, or 4.
Are you saying that when you get a new app, it goes to the app library only?
When you
Because it's-
remove it from the first screen, it goes directly to the app library. It's where it
That's
goes.
correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
Thank
Every app you have is listed here, whether or not you have it on a home screen. And you're going to say, well, Bill, how do you get that one back? Well, a couple things there. One is, you see utilities here? It has more than 4 apps in it. I can tell because it has this little indicator. And if I click that, it shows me all the apps in that particular folder. Now, Apple created these folders. I don't know sometimes the rhyme or reason why a particular app is there. So I want to put that one back on my home screen. The one I just took off, what was it called? News? Is that what it was? I hope so. So I have to search through all these different folders, if you will, to find it? No, I wouldn't. Because if I click where it says App Library, here's everything. And again, if I click over here or tap over here and go down to N, there's the News app. And if I put my finger on it and hold it there momentarily, I can move it back to my home screen. Any questions on that? Because one of the things I hope you're picking up here is different things happen. You can put your finger on the screen and slide it left or slide it right, and it changes the home screen, for example. If I press and hold, that's a different gesture. If I press and hold, in this case, it allows me to move the apps around, and it has the ability to remove the app. So if I wanted to add an app or remove an app from the dock down here, I just put my finger on it and move it up. If I want to put an app down there, I just put my finger on it and slide my finger down. Now there's a maximum number on the tray or the dock down here. I think it's 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, because if I try to put another one down there, let me try. Oh, puts 14 down there. Let's try another one. 15. Wow. 16. They're getting smaller though. Wow. That's it. So I'll put these back up here. And it's a good idea to just play with this so you get used to touching the screen and moving things around and what it feels like to do it. Okay. The thing I didn't show you last week was how to create a folder yourself. Let's say I have these two apps. I have the Wall Street Journal and the news, and I want to combine them into a folder on my home screen. Well, I'm going to press on the screen and they will, I always say that we scare them. Those apps are afraid you're going to do something like hit that minus sign and delete them. You're not going to do that. You're going to just put your finger on news and then move it over and put it on top of Wall Street Journal. Ooh. And it created a folder for you, and Apple figured out that they were two news apps and they named it News. If you wanted to change that name, you could hit the X and say, I want to call it News, but not all caps or something, right? And I just type that in on my keyboard. Now, if I hit the X, and then I tap in NEWS. And let's make it NEWS 1. And so now it's called News 1.
What did you tap to change the name of the title?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
Sorry, I've actually have COVID and it's messed up my voice among other things. What did
Okay.
you tap to change the name of the title, please?
Okay, I open the folder. Well, first of all, you have to get them shaking.
Okay,
And then you open the folder and it shows the name of it up here with a little X beside it.
okay.
Now there's two ways to delete News 1. One would be to click the X. And let me put News 1 back in there. Or you could click and then backspace over it. And this is the backspace. This little, oops, sorry about that. Got to get them to shake again. See the little bar up here at the top in blue? And I just hit this back arrow down here to eliminate one letter at a time. Okay?
Mhm.
And I can, while they're shaking, I can take those icons or apps and move them out of the folder. And always move them over here, so down in the lower right-hand corner, and then you can slide them into place. Okay?
Bill, is it the same on the phone?
Yes, exactly the same.
Excuse me, but you started off saying that this was to create your own folder.
Right.
Is that what you just did?
Yes. So I'm
Well, I
going to
thought
put apps.
you combined two to make a folder. Is that the only way?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So there they are. We created a folder of reminders in App Store. I'm going to call it stuff. Okay. So now I've got a folder called stuff, and then I can put my mouse pointer on it and pull them out of stuff. Interesting. Okay.
Bill, this is Jean. I have a question.
Oh. Go ahead.
Oh, let me turn my sound up. I can just about hear you. I have a iPhone 13 and I'm touching something weird because every time I turn around, they're blinking with the dash sign, like I want to erase something. So there must be something the way I'm holding the phone or touching it or sweeping that's making them shake like this all the time.
The only way I know of to make them shake, see the little dot on the screen, is you have to touch the phone and remain stationary for a second or two.
Oh,
Or
because, yeah, it happens more than 3 or 4 times a week. I'm like, what in the heck am I touching? You know, I had to get used to not having the home button, and then I got used to sweeping things up to get to other. Every time I turn around, I'll go, now, how did I do that? Because, all right, I'll be aware of that. I didn't know if there was some silly thing I'm doing.
And then if you tap the screen again, it stops.
Yeah, I do that at least 5 or 6 times a week. I don't know what's making it do that.
All right.
Thank you.
If, okay, enough on the apps and the home screen. A couple more gestures you can do on your home screen. And I'll get into these later, but I just want to show you what happens. If you put your finger off the edge up here on the upper left-hand side and you pull down, you get what's called the notification center. And now I'm going to flick up to get rid of it. Same thing happens on the iPad. Upper left-hand side, pull down, notification center. If you put your finger on the left-hand corner and pull down, and that's, if I put it up here and pull down, I get something called the control center. On the iPad, you should be able to do the same thing. Now, some of you may have an older iPad and you have to do it from the bottom up. So far, so good? The next thing you can do, if you have no home button, you don't have a home button on your device. If you put your finger at the bottom and go up and stop in the middle. So I'm going to put my finger down here at the bottom. Let me switch pointers so you can see it a little clearer. I'm going to put it down here at the bottom and pull up and stop in the middle. Let me flick that out of the way. I'm going to pull up and stop about right there. And you see what happens? I get the active apps to show up on the screen. You can do the same on your iPad if you do not have a home button. If you have a home button, you double tap the home button. Tap, tap real quickly, and you get something that looks like that. These are for example, on my iPad, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 applications running. Now, this is usually okay, but after you get about 6 or 8, it starts impacting your battery life and it slows things down a bit. So it's good to frequently, if you have the home button, double tap it. If you don't have the home button, put your finger again down here and then pull up and stop in the middle, lift your finger, and you should see the apps that you have active. Now, some of you may have many active. In order to stop them from running, not delete them, not change anything, you put your finger on the particular app and you sweep to the top of the screen, straight up. So let me do it on the, oops. Let me do it on the iPad here. Put your finger here, go straight up. Okay. My iPad just said, thank you. Oh, I feel so much better now. And I'll do the same on the iPhone. I only have one active there because I cleaned them up before class. Now I go like that and it's gone. Now watch, I'm going to open 4 or 5 apps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's 4, 5. So I've opened 5 apps there. And now I'm going to sweep up, stop in the middle, and here's those apps that I've opened. I did that just to make the point that the apps don't close when you go back to the home screen. They remain active.
Can you eliminate them all at one swing?
Say again, please.
Can you eliminate, have you all eliminate all 5 of them with one swap or swing? Swipe.
No, you have to go through each one. I didn't find a way to get rid of all of them at once. If somebody discovers that, I'd like to know it.
Yeah.
Bill, I have a question.
Mhm.
So if they're on there, and I know you should sweep them off and clean it, but if it's something you go to every day, let's say the news break and the weather, let's say, isn't that the quickest way to get them?
I don't think so, but
No?
okay.
Okay, I'm just
mean,
curious.
You can just tap the news app on your screen.
Okay, I know I can search for it or find it, but I sometimes, I have to search for it. Where did I put it? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm thinking that's a shortcut.
It is a way to get to it, but it's also affecting your battery life.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, so they're chewing up battery if they're open for, let's say, 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh.
1 hour they're choosing.
Oh, I thought just the navigation app or something would use battery. Okay,
No,
thank you,
no.
thank you, thank you.
All right.
I have a question, Bill.
Go ahead.
My phone has the Sarasota temperature, and it takes up 4 spaces. How do you get that if you want it?
I believe you're talking about these things, Ann.
Yes, I'm on the iPhone, but I'm talking about the iPhone, the top 2 and on the left and the 2 under take up all of my Sarasota weather. And how do I get that if I lose it?
That's called a widget. And I will talk about widgets at a different time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
A widget, I'll just mention it briefly.
Oh, go ahead with that. While I was trying to do what you were talking about, I
Mhm.
recall that I haven't learned how to get back to the home page. So what do you do to get back to the home page?
Just sweep up from the bottom or hit the home button once or twice.
No home button. From the bottom, okay.
Do you have a home button?
No,
Then you sweep up from the bottom. So
okay,
I have an app open called Notes right now. I mean, they're in my Apple Notes. If I put my finger down here at the bottom, I sweep up, I'll go back to the home screen.
okay, so simple. So simple, thank you.
Yeah, I used to teach this class and saying, if you don't know what to do, hit the home button. And it'll take you back to the home screen. If you don't have that home button, now I have to say, if you don't know what to do, sweep up from off the edge at the bottom, sweep up onto the screen, and you'll be back to the home screen. Okay, everyone?
Bill, I have a
Yes.
question regarding the home button. Why don't you show us again how to put that little gray dot that is a home button on the screen?
I don't want to get into that right now. That's an
Okay.
extra level of complication.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you, sorry. It's
That's
so
okay.
wonderful.
I understand. What she's saying is, you notice on my phone, I have this little button here. That can substitute as the home button. Okay, it's called the accessibility button.
All right, Bill, I upgraded to operating system 16 this week and my gray button disappeared and I don't know how to get it back. And I
You
use
know,
it all the
Brad,
time.
I understand. If you go to settings, accessibility, and what is it? Touch and then assistive touch, and assistive touch will turn that on. Now, I'm not going to go any further in that because
Okay.
it does get much more complicated in terms of
Okay,
what you
thank
want.
you.
When you want that
Appreciate it.
button. Okay,
Thank-
you found it, right?
Yes, yes, thank
Good.
you.
Okay. Back to basics here. Well, I'd like to now go over some nice things that the keyboard offers us. Okay. And everybody, the keyboard, the reason I want to cover that next is the keyboard is most of us, it's the primary way we talk to our iPad. Some of you may have gotten to the point where you're using Siri a lot to talk to communicate. But if we're just writing an email, sending a note, going onto the internet and doing a search for something, well, to enter that something, most of us use the keyboard. And there are a bunch of things in the keyboard that I'd like to show you next that make it easier to use. So we're all on the same page. I'd like to do that using what's called the Notes app. And it's the one that looks like this on your screen. It says Notes on it, has a little yellow bar at the top. So I'm going to open it on both the iPhone and the iPad. Okay. And I'd like you to, if you have an iPad, I'd like you to hit, and it looks like mine, where it says something up here like all cloud or something like that. I'd like you to strike the little box at the upper left-hand corner. If you have an iPhone, I'd like you to strike the thing that says folders. So you go back, basically, so we have folders listed on your screen. The iPad would be in the left-hand panel. The iPhone, it's on the screen. So hopefully we're all at this point.
Oh, gosh, no, mine says what's new in notes.
Let's tap to continue.
Okay, then what?
Where are you now?
It says pinned and text, say something for overseas, go to settings. Then it says
Okay.
2022 and a bunch of
You
stuff.
want to get by all that. So you just open notes for the first time.
Well, that's what I'm asking. How do I get back so that I can get to folders?
Well, no. And what you're on, what's it say on your screen? Next, or something like that? You're in notes and it's saying this is the first time you've been in it. You need to get by all they're trying to introduce you to notes.
Right, exactly, for some reason. Because I use notes all the time, so I don't understand why.
On your iPad or iPhone?
iPhone,
You're on the phone right now?
yes.
And what's it saying?
Well, it says notes, and then underneath it says search, and then it says pinned. Text, say something, and for overseas, go to settings. Then it says 2022 Cascade Platinum, no additional
I
text.
know. You should be able to scroll down and get by all that. Should say next or I don't
And
want
it goes
this.
back to 2015. It's a little note at the bottom, which means I can write something. And at the top, it takes you back to folders, but that doesn't help.
Tap that.
Okay, I'm tapped back and I'm in folders now.
Okay. All right. Now, I don't want to make this unnecessarily complicated. All of us have one there that says all iCloud. There's a way to set up additional folders, and I don't want to get into that because we just want to talk about the keyboard today. Okay. And so just tap all iCloud. Okay. And now it's showing you all the folders that are all the notes that you have in the iCloud. And you should see an icon at the lower right-hand side. I'm sorry, all the notes you have in the iCloud. You should see a little object with a pen and paper on it in the lower right-hand corner. On your iPad, it's the upper right-hand corner. And that's, I want to start a new note. So I'm going to tap each of those. Okay. The cursor shows up on the screen, your keyboard shows up on the screen.
How
You're
did
ready
you
to type.
start the new note?
You hit the pencil and paper up in the right-hand corner of the iPad,
Right.
the lower right,
Uh-huh.
the lower right-hand corner of the iPhone.
Okay, and that takes, you're in notes when you see what is on your screen. That's your day new note. I don't know how to make a new note. Oh, I see. You're going to show us with the text. Thank you. Oh,
Right. We're going to tap the little, that's an indicator to start a new note. That pen, that little dot, that little square with a, looks like a pin in it or a pen.
yes.
Supposed to be a pen on a piece of paper. Okay, and so you
Uh-huh.
should have something that looks like similar to mine. Is it,
Yes.
everybody?
Yes.
So now we all have a keyboard in front of us. Let me start with those of you who have iPads. I'll switch to the iPhone in a minute, okay? You can just tap the letters and they show up on the board, on the note. The first line of a note, this is for everybody, the first line of a note is the title of the note. So that's what shows up, for example, on the iPad as the title or the name of the note. And then I hit the return key. Okay. And I can type some more. Now, if I want to type a number, I would use the little icon in the lower left-hand corner that says period question mark 1, 2, 3, and it changes the keyboard. It's called the numeric keyboard because it has the numbers at the top, but it also has all these special icons. And then if the special icon you're looking for is not there, you would strike this one with a pound sign plus equal sign on it. And I tap that, and it shows me additional icons. To get back to either the 1, 2, 3 or numeric keyboard or the alphabetic keyboard, you would hit the 1, 2, 3 or the ABC. I'm going to strike the ABC. Now, for the iPhone, you tap the letters and it just types them. And they've done a nice job here with the new version where it shows you the last letter you typed, right? If I make them capital letters on both the iPhone and the iPad, this arrow is the shift key. If I strike it once and then start typing, the first letter I type will be capitalized. And you'll notice they signify that by highlighting the arrow on both the iPhone and the iPad.
How did you get yours to look like that? Mine looks like a regular keyboard. It's not black background. And it's just
Which
on
device are you talking about?
on the phone.
I think it came, do you have the latest version of the operating system?
It's upgraded. It is upgraded, yeah.
What version do you have?
Oh, then where I look, I have to go in settings, right?
Right, if you go to settings and general and software update, should be 16.2. What's yours say?
It's checking, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's checking because I always check that every night. 16.2.
Uh-oh. And your keyboard does not look like mine.
Not on my phone, but it works fine. I can type. It looks like
understand.
yours is a black background. Mine is light gray background. Doesn't have the blue like you have the blue arrow up and the blue. It doesn't have any of those things. And it.
How many, let me ask a question to folks. How many of you have the keyboard now? How many, I don't know. How many of you, do many of you have the keyboard that looks like mine? Or is it different? Somewhere of you just tell me.
I think Deborah's problem is that ours aren't colored, they're grayed out. And if she sees what's grayed out, that's what you're talking about, that looks blue on yours.
No, but he still has the the question mark in blue and that little globe in blue. I don't have that stuff on mine. And the happy face.
Does your keyboard look like this?
No.
No. It looks like, yes, it looks like that, but it's not, it looks like that, but what's missing is the happy face and the arrows and that like globe on the lower left next to the question mark. Doesn't have that kind of stuff.
But if the arrow looks like mine?
A little bit like yours.
No, exactly. Yeah. Or does it look like this one on the iPad?
Yes, it looks like the iPad. Yes.
Okay. I think I have switched my keyboard somehow. Let me go to settings. Uh-huh. Is that better?
Yes, now we match. Well, the only thing that you have that I still don't see is the globe that you got on the
We'll
bottom.
get to that. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. So the arrow here we were talking about in both the iPhone and the iPad, if you tap it, like I'm going to do on the iPhone here. Oops, got to get the keyboard back.
Display.
If I tap that little arrow, it temporarily makes the letters caps, and I tap a letter and it types that letter capitalized and then shifts back down, just like you would on a typewriter. Now, if I wanted caps lock, and I'm going to start a new line on both the iPad and the iPhone. By hitting the return.
I
Go ahead.
somehow got out of something and I'm in all iCloud and what do you tap? It says pin today and all kinds of things like that. So how do I get back to all iCloud? Or are they making a new note?
Yeah, you want to make a new note. Do you have that little icon?
I'm not the one at the top, if we're talking about the same thing. Yes. No, I don't have that. I'm not on that page.
Understood. Does yours look like you on an iPhone or an iPad?
iPhone.
Okay. So it looks similar to mine on the screen now?
Yes.
Do you have a little thing on the bottom right that has a pen and paper on it?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Ah,
It's okay.
hidden in plain sight.
Just it's something else you learned today. It's just good. All right. So if you're looking at my iPhone right now, if I type something, what will I type? A capital or a lowercase?
Capital.
Capital. So we're going to tap the V, got a capital, and it shifted back to lowercase. If I wanted caps lock, remember caps lock on the typewriters? You have to double tap that little arrow, and this is one you have to get used to. Double tap it. Tap, tap real quick, and you'll get an arrow with a line under it. Looks like that. Okay. And now, as I type, it's all capital letters. Yes. And the way you shift out of caps lock is you hit the shift key again. The toughest thing people have to do is tapping that up arrow quickly enough to get it to be caps lock, if that's what you desire. I mean, you can tap it or press and hold it and just start typing with two hands or two fingers, right? But you can caps lock it by tap, tap. Now there's a back arrow up on the right. Well, on the iPhone, it's down here at the bottom. It's right here. On the iPad, it's right here. Okay. So far, so good, everybody? Again, if I wanted the 1, 2, 3 keyboard, or the numeric keyboard, I'd hit that key.
Well, Bill,
One additional thing they've added to the iPhone, and this is the first thing you need to get used to. is what are these little gray numbers up here on the iPads? And how do I use them? Because it's not the shift key. The shift key brings up the capital letters. Well, the way in which I use those, or the way in which you can use those, is if you put your mouse pointer on, let's say the letter R here has a 4 on it. If I push there, push on it and pull down, you notice how the 4 expands, and then I release, I actually type the number 4, or I type the number 7, or so try that
Bill-
if you have an
Bill,
iPad.
Isn't it much
Go ahead.
easier than just to hit the 1, 2, 3 on the left
I
corner to
don't
get
have-
your numbers?
No, it's not. Not if you just have, I have to enter the number 34 and then go back to the numeric keyboard. You go 34 and then you keep typing. So
Oh,
it saves you the effort of going to the numeric keyboard and then returning from it.
Okay.
So that's the intention of it. Okay. If you go to the numeric keyboard, there are also a bunch of things there. You see where the $sign is?
Uh-huh.
Well, the yen sign is right above it. So I can click the $sign, pull down, and I'll type a yen. Or the pound sign here. Whoops, not that one. That gives me the English. Here's the euro.
That's
I pull
cool. I never noticed that. That is cool.
I know, it's a really good feature to know about.
What does it have on the phone to equal this?
Does not. Unfortunately, Ann, does not. All right. The next thing, how do you, if I wanted to type a period, I don't need to type anything but press and hold the space. No, double tap the space bar and you'll get a period. See how the period appeared up here? And if I do it on the iPhone, yeah, come on. Give me the keyboard. If I double tap the space bar, tap, tap, I get a period automatically. So especially on the iPhone, I don't need to go to the numeric keypad.
Wow, thank you.
Oh, that was worth the price of the class right there.
Yeah.
Tap, tap. Great little shortcut.
But I noticed it only does it after a letter. You can't just be putting a period in unless you've typed some letters before that. If you have blank space and you hit tap, tap, it won't do a period. Interesting.
That's correct. So that's 2 nice keyboard shortcuts. The one to pull down the letter on the iPad. If you happen to want a happy face, you can click the happy face and you can choose from any one of these. Now, it comes in with all kinds of different things. If you, down here's the table of contents of everything. You can also go from right to left. Wow, can't do it with a pointer there. You can just go from right to left to go through everything. But you can shift to, let's say, the flags by just clicking or tapping over the flag down here. And it takes you to the flag icons.
Is there a way to add more icons that aren't in that list easily?
Is there a name to do what?
Is there a
Add
way
more?
to add more easily? If it's not easy, I don't need to know.
What the fuck would you need more
No,
for?
in fact, there's no way I know of to actually add more.
Okay.
Well, Bill,
Yes,
how do you get the globe? I've got a smiley face there rather than the globe.
I know. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
If you hit the ABC, it takes you back to the happy face up here and globe down here. On my iPad, I have multiple keyboards. I don't have well, I might. If I have the globe there and I tap the globe, it says I have an English keyboard, a Korean keyboard, and emojis. If I do it on the iPad or iPhone, it takes me through the various keyboards. And here I have, and I downloaded an app to get those big keys. That's what that's showing up. Okay, so I have the English keyboard, emojis, and Korean keyboard, and big keys. Let me show you what the Korean one looks like. So there's what the Korean keyboard looks like, if you happen to know Korean. I don't, but my daughter-in-law does, so we can use my keyboard. And look what happens when I enter stuff on that keyboard.
So it translates automatically?
Yeah, no, it's not translating. There's a way to do that too. We'll cover that in the future, but right now, not yet.
Right now, you're typing in English and it's coming out Korean, correct?
No, I'm just typing the Korean. I'm typing on my keyboard and it's giving me the Korean icons.
What did you do to get to the globe?
Do you have a globe?
Not on my, no.
If you only have one thing, if you only have the emojis, you will not have the globe.
Okay.
Oh,
All right?
oh,
So is it available in many, many languages? Can we get variety of languages, keyboards?
All right, good question. Hold on. How do I get back to something here?
Period.
All right. So asking me a question about keyboards. Let me finish a couple more things and then I will address that. All of us have, let me change my, hopefully I can do that.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm back to an English keyboard. All of us have this little microphone here. See the little microphone on the screen?
Yes.
There and there. See the microphone? Now watch what happens. I'm going to do it on my iPad. And I'm going to strike the microphone. Hi, Dave. Colon, new line. How are things in California? New line. Looks like you need to start building an ark. New line. What I was doing is demonstrating to you how you don't even need to type. If you use the microphone and just start talking, it will be pretty good at translating what you're saying. So mute yourselves and give it a try. Try the microphone.
if it spells something differently than you want it spelled, can you say to it, spell it this way or not?
Sometimes it doesn't get it right. You have to go back and edit it.
Mine ended up in the huge letters, but even though I can barely talk, it understood every word, which was wild.
Can you do that if you use the message program?
Absolutely. Anytime the typewriter, the keyboard shows up, that microphone will be there and you can use it.
Thank you.
Somehow mine said a swear word.
Be careful.
And I didn't say it. Nobody else did.
Bill,
Yes,
you only have the globe if you have multiple languages on there. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Multiple keyboards. Doesn't have to be a different language.
Different keywords, okay.
I have a different language and I have that other big keyboard or big keys, it's called.
Now, I did this and just wrote a note with that, but can I send it to my granddaughter from the note?
We're gonna get there in a minute.
Okay.
Okay,
In the globe,
question.
if you double
lead.
tap on the end of a sentence, it does not put a period in it.
Well, it does.
Mine did. Oh, you have to tell it to.
But you can say the word period and it'll do it.
Thank you.
Well, I said space and it wrote space.
Yeah, it wrote space. I think I haven't tried that one. Can you say space? And it might do a space versus.
I just said space once.
It usually puts a space in there anyway, so you don't need to say that when you have the microphone. That's cool. Anyway. I have this nice note here. See this nice note on my iPad? I think I'd like to do something with it, right? One of the features of notes is this little dots up here, right? See the three little dots at the top of the screen? If I type that, I can, is that what I want to tap? I think so. No, it's not that one. Oh, I'm sorry, not the three dots. I'm sorry, it's see the box with the arrow coming out the top? Everybody see that on your device, whether it's an iPhone or iPad?
Yes.
On my iPad, there's nothing there because I haven't typed anything. Okay, there I type something. You'll notice that the box is there. If I tap that little share box, it's what it's called, and you might want to commit that to memory because you're going to see that a lot. So you hit the share box and it comes up and say you want to message it, you want to mail it, and I can do multiple things here with it.
You can even print it.
That's right. You see where it says print? I would be able to print it out. Many people use the Notes application as their word processor. It contains a lot of nice features and it's not very complicated. Okay, and we'll talk about some of the other features there. But if I wanted to mail this to somebody, I could tap mail. So I'm mailing it on my iPad. It says sharing from Apple account. This document will be shared from the Apple account. Okay. And then I can send it to someone up here. If I wanted to do it on my iPad, I'll send a message. I'll tap messages. It comes up as the whole message, right?
That's on your iPhone. You just did that.
Yes.
I had to move my screen up and take the message off, take what I had written up or spoken off until I can get the word copy or print.
Wait a minute. Don't copy or print.
No, I'm not going to. I just wanted to see where it was, but I had to move it up.
I have a question, Bill. It says sharing from iCloud account. This document
Yes.
will be shared with your iCloud account, which is different than using your email address.
No. You can put 2 up here. Are you trying to send a note? Or are you trying to,
I was trying to send what you said.
okay, I'm going to send a message. Email or message, and
Well, I was using email.
okay. So if I tap email here, it's just going to be put in the iCloud. You don't need to, okay? And so there's the message, and the person who receives it would tap that and be able to see your message.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about my iCloud account name.
Right. And then you'd say 2, so I could send it to them. Now, somebody mentioned copy and paste, right? You were in your note. Let me cancel. I could copy the note. Let me do it on the iPad here. Right? I hit the share box. I said copy. And then you could go to your email and tap down here and paste it. You actually get the note right there.
Could you do that if you received a message and you went to this system, to the note system to make a response? Do you send
Yes.
message back or do you have to copy it and put it in the message box?
I would copy it and put it in the message box.
And put it in the message stream that they have or the line that they have? Okay.
Yes.
Bill,
Thank
this is Patricia. I have a question. If you send a note directly from the note app, I think the person who receives it to open it has to also be an Apple user.
I hope not. They do
Because
it in
I've
email, too.
tried to do that, and people have told me that they couldn't open it.
I agree. I think so too.
Yeah,
Is that right? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a way to change that? Okay, we're
Well,
going to
there's
go
another way to do it.
yeah, the copy and paste is another way to do it. But it didn't, this happened, oh, wait a minute.
Send a copy.
Send a copy, let's see if that works. See where it says collaborate versus send a copy? Up here at the top, when I hit the share box, they added a particular feature. So send a copy, change that. Then Leah, also you do that.
Hold on a minute, need to get back to it.
Okay, I'm going to go to my notes. I'm going to go to that weird note that I've got there. Hit the share box and don't collaborate. Tap send copy. And now go to mail. That's a feature they just added. And it automatically puts it in your message or your email. Okay?
Do that again.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I've got my message and you say hit message.
No. Let me do it again. I'm going to start over. I go to my notes. And I'm looking at this weird note that I've got. And Leah, which would you like to do? Email
It
it?
doesn't matter to
or-
me. I just want to know what to do.
Okay.
Basically
I'm gonna tap-
messages. Basically
gonna
putting something in messages.
No, okay, we'll do messages. I'm gonna hit the share box and I'm gonna go to message and it says collaborate here, right?
Yes.
Change that to send copy. And now hit messages. And they put the entire message or the entire note in the message.
Okay, and then when I do that, I get it, since I didn't have anybody sending me a message at that point, I have a new message screen where I have to put to whom it's going.
Yes, I'm gonna send it to Leah. What's what you have something, what's your email address, Leah?
ROCKPITT
Hold on. Do that, start over again.
ROCKPITT
Not rock, R-O-C-K, come on.
38
R-O-C-K-P-I-T.
T, 2 T's. My maiden
38?
name at 38@gmail.com.
I don't think it's gonna get to you that way.
Okay. Generally, when I do, when you send a message, we use a telephone number, don't you?
Well, you can use a telephone number.
Okay.
Bill,
Use email on my
why,
phone.
What's your
Why
Apple
do
ID? Am I putting in your Apple ID?
You're putting in my Gmail. I just don't use it. I don't open it up very often.
What's your phone number? 941?
941
Yeah,
586 0185.
941.
941-0185. Got it.
Yeah, I didn't recognize. See how it came out in blue?
Yes.
By the way, this is another tip for the day. See how it came out in blue? That tells me it's an Apple device I'm sending it to. If it were a non-Apple device, non-Apple phone number, it would come out in green.
Oh,
oh, that's different.
that's why sometimes you get messages that way.
Bill,
I have a
I have
message from you.
Say
I have a
again?
question, Bill. Why
ahead.
do that rather than using the message or email system? What's the advantage of doing it through notes?
If it's going to be a large note, there you have all those nice features. It's wide, shows you multiple lines. You can do more things with it.
Okay,
Okay, it's a stripped down word editing program, right?
okay.
You can highlight stuff, you can bold, highlight, do a bunch of different things with it. Make lists. And you can make it really long and you can edit it. And it's just an easier thing to use than the actual message. And then you have a record of it in your note that you've done it.
Bill, I think that email that you sent to Leah didn't go through because you didn't have a double T. I think it was just one T.
Probably.
Yeah.
His message that he sent to me on the message and not email did come through,
It did.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, as a phone number.
but
When I
with
put
my
the phone
phone
number.
number.
Oh, yeah.
I don't use my email on my phone.
What's your Apple ID, Leah?
Say again?
Is your Apple ID Rock Pit?
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Okay.
Is-
Is your Apple ID, what is it? Everybody understand that question? Because everybody should know what their Apple ID is. So let me show you what that is. Okay, Apple ID. My Apple ID is my email address. If you go to settings So everybody go back to your home screens. Okay,
Go to settings.
and then tap settings. Scroll to the top of the settings menu. Your name should be up there. And if you tap your name, what will show up is on the right-hand panel, right here, it will show you your name or your Apple ID.
My Apple ID is a rocket2@icloud.com.
Okay, if I would have put that in, I could have sent you a message.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Bill, this is not quite on the subject, but driving me crazy that my screen keeps going away, blanking out, and there must be some set that you can do with a timer that you have more time over.
everybody's in settings, so I'm going to cover a couple things in settings. One was keyboard. Okay, and one is how long can you keep your screen active?
Ah, thank you.
Let's do that one first, because today we're talking about settings. If I go to display and brightness, see where it says display and brightness?
Yes.
Click on that
Mhm.
and then scroll down in that to where it says auto lock.
Okay.
Okay, mine says never. Don't change yours to never. I just have that so it won't time out while I'm giving the class.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
But if you hit the arrow there, you can change it from 2 minutes to 10 or 5 or whatever.
I knew it existed. I just couldn't find it. Thank you.
What does that mean?
That means if you don't touch the screen, in my case, well, if I change it to 5 minutes. Now, if I don't touch the screen for 5 minutes, it will go to sleep.
Okay.
And mine was 30 seconds, which is why it was driving me crazy.
Exactly.
Bill, when they had the choices of how you send things, and one was AirDrop,
Mhm.
when I'm trying AirDrop, a lot of times I will get the AirDrop of my other neighbors in my apartment building.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean,
they're on
why?
the same. How come they're on the same Wi-Fi? It will show you the people that are on the same Wi-Fi network as you're on.
Well, maybe
If I chose my neighbor, what would happen? Would they get whatever it is?
Yes.
maybe
They-
that's why mine came up,
No,
check the lock
No,
on.
wait. I need to clarify the other question there. AirDrop. Do you have a Wi-Fi network in the building?
Not, I would doubt it. This is a very cheap landlord.
So you have a Wi-Fi box in your apartment?
I don't know.
You pay somebody for Wi-Fi?
No, as far as I know, I don't think so. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I have, the Verizon said something about a Wi-Fi password. It says Verizon Wi-Fi password that, and I pay
Right.
Verizon, so.
Well, when you get, if you go to, well, let me get to that in a minute. That one
Okay,
in a
not a
minute.
problem, not a problem.
Okay, let's go to, I want to finish up on keyboard.
What, can you just
Everybody?
say, what is, after auto lock, what does raise to wake mean?
If your phone is laying on the table and you pick it up, it will automatically come on.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to talk about keyboards and finish up that subject. If we go to general and we scroll down to where it says keyboard. Okay. And mine says keyboards 3, hardware keyboard. Which one do you want? For example, we have QWERTY. We're using a QWERTY keyboard. Okay. Lots of them. Okay. If you wanted to add another keyboard, you would tap where it says keyboards, and then you could add a keyboard. If you tap add a keyboard, right? First of all, it has all these languages you could get, or you could go to the internet and get additional keyboards. Like the one that I had on my screen to start with.
These are not offered on the phone.
Say
Yes, they
again?
are. Yes, they are. They're on the phone. They're absolutely all on the phone, the different ones.
Settings, General keyboards. Okay. Now you'll notice I have a bunch of settings there for the keyboards. I have autocorrect on, shortcuts on, predictive. Did anybody catch that on predictive? My wife was mentioning that to me the other day. That, boy, that's pretty clever. So if I'm writing a note down here and I start typing H-O-W, I press the space bar and it comes up with those three words as predictions. How to, do, and much. If I wanted to type the word R, I'd tap an A, and the predictive says, do you want to type R? A-R-E? Yes. And it comes up and it says, oh, what do you want to type next? And it's predicting what you might want to type. You would be surprised how accurate it is. How are you doing? Now let's type a T, O, and it comes up with today.
Is that what artificial intelligence is doing for us?
That's what artificial intelligence is doing for you.
Why don't I have predictive?
You have to click
Do you
it.
have it turned? Do you have it turned on? Back in
I don't have
settings.
it listed. I said, oh, back here, general,
I'm in general keyboard
right?
and right here. Oops, sorry about that. Right here, predictive is turned on.
I don't have predictive listed. That's my problem.
Wow. It's a relatively new iPhone
14.
and it doesn't have predictive listed. You're not in the right place.
Okay, right. I was in a different place, but yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have enabled dictation and auto punctuation, so it'll put a question mark in when it thinks it's a question mark. I have it checking the spelling. And I leave emoji stickers turned on. Okay. So let's venture back
What-
to settings.
Bill, what does one-handed keyboard mean? Mine is off.
It's going to be a smaller keyboard on one side. Is this the iPhone?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's going to be
Okay,
it's going to be a
understood.
small keyboard on the left, right, top or bottom. You can move it
Okay.
around.
Okay, I don't want that. That's fine.
You know, on many of these, just try it, see what it does. And then remember what you changed and be able to go back and change it back if you don't like it. All right. First thing we're going to see is our names at the top of the screen, right? If we tap our name, as I mentioned to you earlier, it comes up and has your Apple ID there, right? I'm not going to cover all these. If you have a subscriptions, by the way, if you get subscriptions through Apple, they're really cool because you can delete them really easily. So if I tap subscriptions, it comes up and tells me I have these subscriptions. And I'm paying that much a month. If I hit the little arrow, I can cancel it at any time. One of my favorite things. The only thing I really want you to pay attention here in all of the things that are here It's called iCloud. You see where mine says iCloud, 50 gigabytes? Hit the arrow, and it shows you how much of the iCloud you're using. So if you have 5 gigabytes, this may be clear up near the end, and you need to purchase some additional iCloud space. It's 99 cents a month to go from 5 to 50.
I have
Bill,
2
I'm
8
embarrassed.
gigabytes.
Bill, I'm embarrassed because I have 53.6 gigabytes out of 200, which is more
Yep.
than you, but I don't do anything on it like you do. So I don't even understand why I have so much.
Oh, you must take a lot of pictures.
I do, but I don't want them all. I don't know how to get rid of them, but.
Well, that's a different subject. It says, I'm putting these things in the iCloud down here. I want you to see where it says iCloud backup. Make sure
Yes.
that is on your device. Okay. And mine says, when I clicked on that, it says last updated was 1.6 on my iPad, because I haven't had that on in a while. If I come down here to my iPhone and I go to the same place, hopefully it says it updated last night,
Yes.
right? And it says last updated at 9:53 this morning. Okay,
Mine has a time, but no date.
that means it was today.
Thank you.
Mhm.
About the time I turned it on.
Right. Okay. Now my iPhone and my iPad use the same space. All right, everybody?
Yep.
Just make sure you have it on so your stuff is being saved. So if you all of a sudden break your iPad or dunk it in the pond or whatever, and it's no longer usable, you can get a new iPhone and get it back to where it was because all your information's in the iCloud.
Okay,
Okay.
I just got changed iPhones and I have 2 of them on there, and they don't differentiate between the old and the new one. So how do I know which phone is I no longer have and don't need to back up?
Just a minute. I have all these.
Hmm.
It usually says the model of the iPhone,
I'm sorry, usually it does what?
the model of the iPhone. See, I have an
Oh.
iPhone 10 and I have an iPhone 12.
Okay, all right. Okay,
While she's looking, I just moved to my messages on my iPhone, and both of the ones you sent me are there.
Good.
And they indicated when I just had the screen that there were 2 messages.
Okay. If I'm back, and I'm going back to settings now, and I just want to cover some additional basic settings. On the iPad, it says airplane mode. On the iPhone, it says airplane mode. What is airplane mode?
Cuts off your systems while you're on a plane.
Say that again.
It turns off your device while you're on a plane.
It turns off the cellular features of your device while you're on a
Okay,
plane.
just the cellular, thank you.
The next one down there is Wi-Fi. Mine says Frontier 1760. That's the name of the box that's in my home. Okay, so now if I tap that, I go ahead and tap, whoops. I go ahead and tap that. It lists the Wi-Fi networks that are around me.
Yes.
I have dozens and dozens, and I once had one that was a, what do they call it? Bikini wax place that wasn't secured, so I could get into there.
Right, you
Anyway.
can. But the one that you're logged onto right now requires a password, perhaps. Okay,
Oh, I know what it says. It says low data mode. What does that mean?
that means it doesn't transmit really fast. It's a little, the data rate is slower than it can be, I guess.
I mean, is this something that I paid for or something that's happening?
One of the two, yeah.
Okay,
And I'm not sure why you're getting that.
okay, well, I now know to ask. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, one point of confusion here, you see where it says my phone, my iPhone on my iPad here? My iPhone can get onto a cellular network. So if I'm in my car, my phone's still able to get emails, and I'm able to send emails and send messages because it's doing it through the cell phone towers. I could also pull out my iPad and I could click here where it says Bill's iPhone. If I click there, I would attach to my phone that's talking to the internet. And in a simpler way of putting that is my iPhone becomes a router box
The
for
what
my
box?
iPad.
The what box?
A router, a modem.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Yep.
And if you person has not set up a personal network, that will not show up on your phone, right? Because mine just goes from Wi-Fi to networks, not my network. So
I
those are-
understand. So if you don't, if your phone isn't set up for that, yes, you will not. Okay. Then below that's other networks, and these are ones that are around you somewhere.
some of them are pretty interesting names.
Well, one's my printer, which is interesting, right? And I'm not sure what the Fire TV, that's another one. Wow. Okay. The next one down there is Bluetooth. And if I tap Bluetooth, it shows me the devices that are Bluetooth that I'm capable of getting onto. It's interesting. There's the pencil, which I have in my hand right now. There's the mouse. I could talk to my TV. I can talk to a wireless keyboard. My earbuds are all Bluetooth connected. You could have speakers that Bluetooth connect.
How come I just seem to have one of them when I have 3 Apple devices?
What are the Apple devices?
Let's see, a watch, a phone, and the iMac.
Because the watch only talks to the iPhone.
Okay.
I don't know if that's listed here either.
It says connected. What does the I mean? It is connected with an I. All right.
If you tap the eye, gives you
Uh-huh.
information. You can forget this device, for example.
To manage settings for your
Any-
Apple Watch,
any-
go to Apple
By the
Watch.
way, you're bringing that up. Anytime you see an eye, you can tap it to get more information.
Ah,
For example, on your phone. And this is a good hint, right? On your phone, if I look at my phone, see the eyes here? If I tap, here, I'll call this person. If I tap the eye, it will give me more information about the phone call.
oh, that's useful.
And then I could send that person a message. I could have a video conference with that person. There's Ann. If I tap the eye and tap video, guess what? I'll be having a FaceTime conversation with Ann.
Wow.
that okay, Ann?
Go
You know,
ahead.
I did this to my sister-in-law about a year ago. And it says, okay, if I show the class how to do a video. And she said, absolutely not. All right. Anyway, so that's a good thing to tuck in your memory banks. The eye just gives you information. It's not going to do anything. If I tap here, it will call that person. If I tap the eye, it just gives me information and other actions I can take. Okay? Working our way down through settings. We went to Bluetooth. One is sounds. You know,
I
your
have a
device is capable of making a lot of sounds. Let me do it on both devices here. It's called on your iPhone, it's called sounds and haptics. Anybody know what haptics means?
The things that you can set up to play that sort of sound like music, is that right?
No, it actually vibrates.
Oh,
You can feel it. Okay? That's what haptics is all about.
okay.
They have a headphone safety limit here of how many decibels you can get, allow through the speaker, which is a good safety thing. Here's the it'll stop. The way you adjust your volume. They have what sounds will your phone make? It's called the ringtone, and you can select from all these. Right?
How do you get something to make a touch haptic?
Say again, please.
With the haptics, you said it was touch,
It vibrates when
right?
you
How do
when
you
it
get
makes,
it to do that?
no, when it makes a phone call. You see where it says vibration up here?
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, all right.
That's one of the haptics, by the way.
Okay.
So there's all these different things you can make. Those are the ones they've added recently. You can also hit the arrow here and get a lot more. My wife, there is a way, if you go to that person's contact. So for example, my wife has me in her contacts. And if she goes to my contact and taps edit, there'll be an option there for a ringtone so that if I call her, it has a specific ringtone.
Ah,
Now, I wouldn't recommend you do that for more than 4 or 5 people because I did it and I couldn't remember whose phone, what the phone was. But she sent this for me. That's the ringtone that she got when I called her. So I had revenge. This was the ringtone I get when she calls me. Okay. Actually, it's that one. Okay.
Mine had stopped giving me a ringtone, especially when the alarm went off, and I assumed it was the same ringtone.
No, alarms are different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So here, if you get a text, this is the ringtone I'll get. If I get a voicemail, I get this sound. If I get new mail, I get this sound. If I send a mail, I get this sound. So you can go through here and change all these. I have my keyboard, so when I tap my keyboard, it makes a sound. It could make a haptic and vibrate as well.
I think I turned off my sound reminder because they were driving me crazy. Where do I turn them on again?
When you go to here, sounds and haptics,
Mhm.
you go down to reminders.
Uh-huh.
My reminders, T-Rex. Okay. Believe me, if you,
I have them chosen. I just turned everything off.
what do you mean by turned it off?
I just said no sounds.
You said none.
Right. Oh, I see. Alert tones. Okay. I'm trying to see where to turn it back on. I turned it off and I don't know how to turn it back on.
Right there.
Alert tones now. All right. Okay, wait a minute. Store vibration. What page are you on?
Okay. So far, so good?
No. Sounds and haptics. Mm. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There's a bunch of settings in general that we should talk about. So let's go there. Let's go to general. And I'll do it on my iPad as well. And the first one there is about. So I tap about, and it tells me some things about my device. It tells me the name of my device, and I have chosen to name mine Bill's iPhone. Since I just taught you all how to use the keyboard, you should be able to change your name there. So if I wanted to change Bill's iPhone to Bill's iPhone 12, I would hit the arrow. By the way, when you strike that arrow, nothing changes. It just shows you additional menu. In this case, it's showing me the name I've used. And if I want to add space and then type a 12, now I've changed the name to Bill's iPhone 12. I could have hit the X and just changed the name entirely. I do recommend that everybody put a name there. Just don't leave it iPhone. It tells me what version of the operating system I have. And I just updated last night. I did to 16.2. It tells me the model of my phone. And a couple of things you'll need. If you call the Apple support, you'll probably need the serial number. Some really important piece of information there is how many songs, videos, photos that you have on your device.
Bill, my application says 140, and I know I don't have 140 app. That's apps, right? So I know I don't have 140.
Yes, you do. If
I
you
do?
go back to that screen, where was it?
Application.
You go back to here and you tap App Library, you'll see you have 140 here. I have 300.
I have 30.
You have 30. That's probably pretty much what it came with.
Okay. Just surprised that you would have 300. I wouldn't know what to do with. I get totally confused.
I teach class and people say, did you try this one? I said, oh, okay. And I just don't go back and delete them. for example, I have one here called the cat. And I don't think it's available any longer.
The cat as a cat, like, the fuzzy creature?
Like it puts a little dot on your screen and moves the dot around like a
Oh.
laser pointer so the cat
Oh.
can charge at it.
Oh, Lord, okay.
Now someday I'll update that. Important to everyone is these two numbers. This one says 128 gigabytes on my iPhone. And my iPad says 64 gigabytes. The important number is the one after that. That's how much you have left, how much space you have left. 46 gigabytes is what I have left on my iPhone, 34 on my iPad. If that gets below 10, especially 5, you need to get a new device or do some house cleaning. Software update. If you tap that, go ahead and tap it.
Where does it say?
Ooh, where did I tap here? Software update. It tells you what version you have updated. And it says on my iPhone, it says I have 16.2 there. On my iPad, on the other hand, I have not updated that. And it tells me. Now I do have automatic update. If you turn off your device, don't power it down, just and plug it in overnight in the next in the next few nights, could be weeks, it will update itself because I have automatic updates turned on.
Oh, but you still have to plug it in for it to do it automatic.
Correct. It has to be
Okay.
plugged in.
That's why it says I only have 16.1 and yet it says I have 16.2. Okay. So
Okay.
tonight I need to plug it in.
Well, it won't necessarily, Leah, it won't necessarily update
I understand.
that night because they have a lot of them they update. And so they're not going to update everybody at once.
Okay.
All right.
But I could keep checking it the next morning and
Absolutely.
gotcha.
Tap where it says iPad storage or iPhone storage. And it gives you a nice graphic about
Yes.
how much you're using. And this is your iPhone or iPad, not the iCloud. There's the graphic on the iPad and the graphic on the iPhone.
What does iOS stand for? Yeah.
iOS stands for your operating system. The I
Thank
is
you.
I. Okay.
I have a question on when they're listing the updates on things. Something I have like GBs under GarageBand and iMovie and Keynote. I never use these things, so why would I have?
And that GarageBand, how much space does it take?
1.66 GB?
Yeah, a lot of space, right?
Can I remove it or does it come with the?
Oh, I was hoping somebody would mention that. So if I wanted to, let me go down here to find cat. If these listed all are way down, it's way down. I'll do a search here. Let's see. Oops, I got the wrong keyboard. It's not going to find it. All right, I won't do it that way. What you can do, if I wanted to get rid of Eat Bowl Pool here, I would tap the arrow. Remember, I said the arrow doesn't do anything other than show you a new menu. And you can always hit the back arrow to get out of it. So if you're curious about what it is, you just strike it. And it says its size is 128 meg. I'm using an additional 2.3 for data, so I must have used it at some point. And I can delete the app right
Oh.
there, delete, and delete it. And now it's going away. And I saved that much space.
Can
So
you
this
show
is
us
where
on
we
the
go
phone?
to, same on the phone, dear, same on the phone. Oh,
And
does
will-
it delete? It doesn't delete it from your phone if you delete it from the iPad.
If you delete something you should have on there, do they let you do that? So that you delete something by accident that you shouldn't delete?
You're saying something like mail or
Whatever, I mean, you know,
here's
something,
photos.
something
Yeah,
you shouldn't have deleted. They let you do that, okay.
no, they don't let you delete photos.
How's iMovie coming there?
Right? See if there's another one here. Books. Yeah, I can delete the Books app, but not the Photos app. How about the Notes app? Yeah, I could delete the Notes app. Boy.
Okay, it says iMovie. This will delete the app and all related data.
Right. So
I-
if you used it, this is a really cool feature. If you use it and just delete and then said, oh, it's taking up much space right now, I need to delete it. And you keep the data. In other words, you didn't tap that portion. And you bring back the app, all the data that you created with the app before will be there. That makes sense?
Yes,
Oh, it
I-
doesn't make sense to me.
I don't even know what iMovie is, so how
That's
does,
right.
I'm sorry,
I understand.
but why would I have documents and data in it if I don't know what it is? I would have never used
How much documented data do you have?
4 KB.
Very, very, very little.
Okay,
So you may have opened it once and then closed it.
Oh,
okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Bill,
Yeah.
I have 8-ball pool and I'm trying to delete it, but it says this will free up storage, but keep its documents and data. And so I can do that, right? Delete
Why do
the
you
app.
want to keep, why do you want to
d-
keep the documents and data of 8
I
ball
don't,
pool?
so why would I want to keep that?
Just hit the delete. Well, in this case, you don't. You just hit delete app. And it gets
you
rid of
ha-
everything.
do you have to delete it from this, can you delete it from this listing of what it is? Or do you have to go to the app on the home page?
Nope, you delete it here.
Okay.
It does the same thing.
But Bill, you said that if I deleted it, which I did, it deleted the data and everything else. Well, what if I didn't want to delete the data? I want to be able to pull it back eventually.
Right. Well, then you wouldn't have that. Let me find one that has that. No. If I said offload the app, it would offload it, and I'd still have 1.8 megabytes of data. So I would tap offload the app and instead of delete the app.
And that just takes it away from what? I mean, and puts it where? So I can read.
Well, okay. When you delete an app, the only thing that happens is it removes it from your phone or removes it from your iPad. Okay, you offloaded it.
And what
And
about
then
the information that's in it or the data that's in it?
if I said delete versus offload, it would delete the information.
Okay.
Now, why does it tell me my Gmail was last used in December? I mean, am I missing something that I should be?
You're not using the Gmail app. You're using the Apple app to get to your Gmail.
Oh. And I apparently changed that in December?
You last used it in December, yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks.
That doesn't mean you're not getting your Gmail on your phone. You're just not using that particular app to do it. And when we get to mail, I'll explain that some more. Okay?
But you won't get to it today.
No. Today's over already.
Yes.
right.
Bill,
Go ahead.
I was wondering if you could, in a future class, talk more about reducing spam. And that would be really, really, really helpful.
Yeah, when we get to mail, for example, we'll talk about that some more.
That'd be great. Thank you.
There is a way to block emails, addresses, for example. Yeah, I had one person who somehow ended up getting a lot of obscene emails, and we just started blocking them all. So there's a way to do that. And if you want to know before then, just Google it. How do I block emails on my iPhone?
That's a good idea.
How do you stop
Any more
automatic
questions?
blocking is what I want.
See, you want to do what, dear?
Oh, at the same question I asked you at the very beginning, how do I stop the automatic blocking of callers?
Callers. Automatic blocking of callers.
Yes,
I will
you told me
answer
to,
that.
you told me to check Google,
Right.
which I haven't had a chance to do.
Okay. If you go to, that is in settings. Go down to phone. And it says blocked contacts. You
Where are
tap
you?
that, and you should have a list there of the people that are being blocked.
Yes.
And you can delete or remove any one of those from the blocked list.
Okay. I know how to unblock them. The problem is I do not know how to or why they are automatically coming and blocked. They are automatically being blocked.
I don't know.
Yes.
And again, we would
Neither
have to
does
check.
anybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
One last question. If I
Go
have
ahead.
something on here that I haven't used since 2021, I can probably safely delete it.
Yeah, and let me cover one thing there. If you delete an app, you can always get it back. If you paid something for the app, you only pay for it once.
Okay.
And you can go to the, well, we talk about the App Store. We will talk about the App Store later. Okay,
Thank you.
we stuffed your minds with enough for today. These two little boys, Tom and Danny, were excessively mischievous. They were so mischievous, the mom didn't know what to do with them. So she contacted the local preacher in the town and asked if the preacher could work with him, because she wasn't having success in keeping them from being so mischievous. The preacher agreed, but he asked if he wanted to see them individually. So the mother sent Danny in the morning, and the other boy in the was planning on sending him in the afternoon. The preacher is a huge man with a deep, booming voice, and the younger son, Tom, showed up in the morning walked into the porch, knocked on the door. Minister invited him in, and he sat behind this big desk and then told the boy to sit down in the chair. The preacher in his booming voice said, "Do you know where God is, son?" The boy's mouth dropped open, but he had no response. Sitting there, wide-eyed, with his mouth hanging open, the preacher repeated, "Where is God?" Again, the boy made no attempt to answer. The preacher raised his voice again and says, "Where is God?" The boy screamed, bolted out of the room, down the steps, outside, ran home, dived into his closet, and slammed the door behind him. His older brother heard all the commotion, went to the closet and opened it up and said, "What happened?" The younger brother, gasping with breath, replied, "We're in big trouble now. God is missing, and they think we did it."
Yep.
All right, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Great class. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Bill.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Bill.
We'll
Thank
pick up
you.
here.
Thank you.
Thank
Bring your
you.
questions. Bring your
Next
questions
week is
next
on
week.
what?
We'll pick up here.
Ooh, somebody
Okay.
gets close, yeah.
Okay, see you next week.
All right. Take care, folks.
God bless.
Thank you.